God wants to deal with the mess in your house. Y'all already quiet. Years ago, it's kind of funny now because I can say that now. Years ago, way back when I was in high school, in a high school gym class, I was introduced to the game of golf. We were introduced to the game of golf, and it was my immediate thought that the first thing that would have been shown to us was how to handle the clubs, how my posture needed to be, how I needed to position my feet and my legs. But to my surprise, we did not immediately go to the golf course to hit some golf balls, but we sat down in the gymnasium to learn a little history. The game of golf, ladies and gentlemen, as it is now, is not how it originally started. But it began in 1848 by a black preacher who put together a round leather ball and filled it with goose and chicken feathers. And even on the plantation where he was a slave, he began hitting the ball around. And he found out almost by accident that the ball in which he was playing with was too round and too smooth. Right? The ball was too round and it was too smooth. So he soon discovered that when the ball had a dent in it, that the ball would fly further. So when golf balls became mass produced, they were made with dents already in the balls, because they found out that if something is too smooth, it wouldn't go as far. But if it had some dents in it, it could go even. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that sometimes God sees that your life is going too smooth. Y'all not gonna shout. And he can't get you as far in the faith as he needs you to go. And in order for your faith to go further, God has to put some dents in your life. Life can go so smooth before you think that you can roll on without God. But to get the most performance out of your life, God has to put some dents and some bumps in the road. Let me hear that. Don't think that you're so free. Don't miss me here. That you won't ever have to wrestle with your family. I know this kind of talk makes us uncomfortable, but this message that God wants to get into the minds of us as black folk, that after I bring you out of slavery, the next issue you're going to have to deal with will not be from the man. Y'all mention. It will not be from the system. Ladies and gentlemen, no matter how hard life gets for you, can I give you a little enlightenment? The world is not against you. The issue at hand is a stain that God says that I put in your house. And until you stop putting energy and focus on what's going on outside of your house and start facing the demons that are in your house, because sometimes the stuff you have to fight is from people who look just like you. Share your blood, have your last name, and God says if you don't put your house in check, you'll never be able to get into peace. One of the terrible things about us as black people who think that we have arrived is that you think that you have arrived and you don't need to pray anymore once you got the degree. That you think that you don't need to lift your hands up anymore once you get the nice car and you move into the suburbs. But God says, okay, I know how to bring you back. All I have to do is drop some mess in your house. And I'm so sick of stuck-up people who act like you've been where you are all of your lives. And God says sometimes I have to take you back to when you didn't have all that you had. God help me in here. When the food was scarce in your house, when you didn't have too many clothes to choose from, when you didn't have the degree, because if I take you back there, that's when I can trust you to lift my name. But something has happened within the climate and the culture of us as black people that when we were at a place where we didn't have anything, God, y'all finna go cold in here. We could dance and shout all day. Y'all missed it. When we were not allowed on the golf course before Tiger Woods could play in the Masters. And y'all don't want to talk to me. We'd come to church from sun up to sundown. Some of y'all ain't did that. But now we so sophisticated that we could barely sit through one church service. God help me in here. Not only are you not on time, but you have the nerve to be checking your watch. God help me. See, it don't take all of that. God says perhaps your life is too comfortable. And in order for me to get you back in a place of worship, I have to bring some mess into your house. And I don't know if it's with your children, with your spouse, or with your money. And some of y'all sitting here and said, I check all of the above. Y'all better keep it real. But there's something going on in your house that's robbing you of sleep. And as soon as the church doors are open, you should have been running your hind parts up in here saying, Lord, there's something wrong in my life. Please don't miss me here. Things go crazy when you get close to your promise. Since you're not going to shout, please get the CD. Some of y'all sitting there, y'all been fake like you don't have no problem. But God bless you. If you don't have problems in your family, please get the CD because problems are coming. Elbow your neighbor and say, you better keep it real. Please understand that whenever your house starts going crazy, take that as confirmation that my promise must be close. When all of a sudden your children start acting crazy, all of a sudden you don't even recognize your spouse. All of a sudden the people in your house act like they come from another planet. It's just because the Lord wants to give you a sign. Get your house in order because I don't want you to trip out when you get to your point. God, let me preach this. Have you noticed that when things in your professional life, things in your educational life, when they start to line up, that's when your family starts to go crazy? Because God says, I want you to remember that your first ministry, don't miss me here, is not your job. Your first ministry is not your career. It doesn't mean a thing if your children are going crazy and they can't read and they can't function and folks in your house got low self-esteem and are dealing with sexual identity crises and you're so busy trying to do you silly rabbit, you're losing your daughter, you're losing your son, and maybe you ought to cut back on some of that self-indulgence and minister to your family. Some of us are losing our families because we're trying to pretend like everything is all right. Somebody just scream, I want my family back. is when your house will mess up. And when your house is jacked up, I got to hit the accelerator, read the text clearly. The first thing that you must do, you have to admit that I'm going through hell. Oh my God. I can't identify with y'all church people sometimes. You sit in church and act like nothing is going on and act like you're not about to lose it. But I wish I could find at least 5 people. I wish I had some folk in here who would come to church and say, you know what, Rev, I'm about to choke somebody out. I'm getting ready to put my foot. Well, son, don't shout. And I came to church not because I need something cute, but I need something to keep my family together. But I believe that there are a few of you who don't mind letting it be known. I did not come in here to impress nobody. I don't have a thing to prove to none of y'all. Watch this. But my wife is getting on my nerves. My husband makes me sick. My children are out of control. But I love God and I trust Him that everything is going to be all right. Admit what it is that you're dealing with. I got to get out of here. After you admit it, y'all gonna have to help me out. After you admit it, watch what the text says. It says, after church, go back home and walk through the house until you can figure out what's causing all of this confusion in my house. Can I back up just a little bit? Can I tell you, some of y'all are dealing with some negative stuff in your house because you forgot order. When God blesses you with a place to live, your first thing you do is to call the preacher and say, come pray. Come bless my house. Yes, see, y'all missed that in the text. Y'all missed that in the text. Admit what you're dealing with, and after church, go back home, and you got to figure out what's causing all this mess in my house. Watch this. Watch this. I got to figure it out, because if it's driving me crazy, I know it ain't me. How in the world do you have silly children who live in your house talking about they need some privacy? Is everybody crazy? Is everybody crazy? And I don't care how old they are, watch this. If they stay under your roof and not paying no bills, they are classified as a child. How in the world you got silly grown children living in your house talking about, I need some personal space? You don't have no personal space.